Detective Comics issue number 27, the very first appearance of Batman. And this issue paved the way for the legacy that will come, that is to come, and that is the legacy of Batman. This issue started it all. And in 1939, I don't even think, the creator, Bob Kane, I don't think he knew how big his creation was going to get. I don't think he had any clue whatsoever because of the fact that, I mean, look at how far Batman has come. Look how far Batman has come. Look at all the different iterations and the TV shows, the movies, the cartoons, the action figures, and the many, many, many comics after 1939. And it all started with this issue. I mean, what made this issue so legendary? I mean, what made this issue the foundation that is Batman? Because it all started with this issue. I mean, going through this issue, let's just start with the cover. I mean, this cover. This cover says it all. I mean, it's so simplistic in its nature, and yet it tells such a dynamic story just from this cover. I mean, we got Batman just cruising, just gliding with the rope with a crook and a headlock, and we see the other two crooks looking in awe, and that's just how it starts off. Something so simple could leave you in wow, because it leaves you with, okay, obviously he's the Batman because it says so right there, but who is this guy? I mean, is he human? Obviously he looks human, he's wearing a bat costume, but there's so many things that play into it. I mean, going to the first panel, the first page, the first panel, I mean, we see everything. And they had the sense of mind, which I think they understood the fact that, okay, this guy is human. He has no superpowers. How is he going to get around? What is his main motive of transportation? And this is where we get the first iteration of the Batmobile. We got the first iteration, and it's just a simple car. No bat symbology, nothing of like that. No bat symbols, just a generic car, and just wow. But every single panel was so specifically chosen and so simple, but yet it leaves you reading. It leaves you keep on reading. I mean, reading this. I mean, you just read it, and every single panel was straight to the point. Everything was straight to the point, and it left you like, okay, what's gonna happen next? I mean, we got Bruce Wayne, we got Commissioner Gordon, we have this crime, and you had to read on to find out what happened. It was such a simple setup, but so catchy and so symbolic, And then we have the first ever showcase of Batman, him just all tough, and I think they were going as, okay, this guy, he's human, so he has to be intimidating. He has to be intimidating. I think that was the goal of this because of the fact that, everybody has a natural fear of something. So to tap into that fear and to really showcase it in a way that you're automatically at an advantage to your opponents if you start fearing them. And they knew it right from the start. Bob Kane knew it right from the start. And we see some detective work going on here. And then obviously, we got the Batmobile, just a regular car. And just so many things. Every single panel. What's Batman gonna do next? And, what is he gonna do? What is Commissioner Gordon gonna do? And all this thing. And every panel. I mean, it wasn't hard to read between the lines to figure out what was going on. I mean, it wasn't that hard to, fathom, okay, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. And that's like for something so simple as these panels, it tells the story straight across. And this final panel, Commissioner Gordon's talking to Bruce Wayne. Little does he know, Bruce Wayne goes home and he comes out as the Batman. And such a perfect ending to that first issue. And you're like, wow. And it really leaves you to fathom, okay, he is the Batman. I mean, why does he do this? It leaves so many questions, and it has such a hook. It has such a hook that I honestly think, you know, I honestly think that, Bob Kane knew, I mean, he knew how to hook people. And look at him and the art director and the inking and just this issue really, you could really see how this issue set the tone for later iterations of Batman. Because if you look at all of the iterations that came after this, you could really find things that jump back to the very first issue. Even in the most simplest things, you could always backtrack every single Batman comic to the very first issue. You could see the impact that it had. In terms of the Batmobile, Batman has to have some form of transportation. And you see that evolving to the Batplane, the Bat helicopter, the Batboat, but it all goes back to that very first issue that they had the sense of mind to say, okay, he needs to get around. He's a human being. He's not going to walk everywhere. And, just everything about this issue. I mean, Bruce Wayne's dual identity as the Batman started with the very last panel. And look how crazy they took it. Now, this issue, just reading it, I could really see how important this issue was. And if Bob Kane was aligned now, I mean, just imagine, his creation, his baby boy. Look how grown up he is now. I mean, this issue really plays it all. And if anybody, could pick up, could read this issue, it is part of Batman: The Golden Ages, Volume 1. So pick it up, and you guys could read the very first issue of Batman Detective Comics number 27. And it was such a great read. It was such a great read. And also, an original copy of this comic book is worth approximately $1.4 million. So if anybody's watching this and has an actual, original 1939, you're a millionaire right now. This one comic book is worth $1.4 million. So whoever has this issue, congratulations, you are a millionaire. So once again, guys, I mean, there's not much else to talk about this issue because it's so simplistic in nature. But it really lays down the foundation, guys. And comment below, guys. Like, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, if you can read this issue, read it. And once again, guys, have an awesome day.